Alright guys, today we are going to replace the valve cover gasket on the 94 Honda Accord. Actually I already did this once, but had some other issues. So here we go. It's a pretty simple process, but it's always nice when somebody walks you through it, right? I got some leaking coming out right there. In fact, you can kind of see that little piece of rubber right there. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, there it is. So first off, we got this thing's hot as all get out. If you're leaking oil inside here, I've got a video on how to replace these oil seals, or I will shortly because I've already done that. What you're going to need is 8mm and a 10mm. So most of these top ones are 10s. So we're just going to get these off. Got the little grounding wire that goes right there. You want to make sure you keep your spark plug wires in order. Definitely don't want to get those out of order, otherwise you're going to be in big trouble. So they kind of stay in order, you know, just because of the links, but just be careful with that. Now you may have new washers too, but these are all brand new. I had a lot of issues and I just replaced the valve cover gasket, but I put a cheap one on there. But I replaced all these other washers and stuff too, and I had some other issues, so I had the valve cover on and off about 100 times, so wasn't ideal. Throttle cable coming off, 8mm and 8mm. That's it, baby. Get these out of there. Alright, I try to keep all these still, you know, plugged in. Just lay those back out of the way. Move your throttle cable, just kind of push it up under there. Get it out of the way. And you're almost ready to go. We're going to have to pop these up. And we're going to take these hoses off. This one. This just pulls right out. Tuck that back away. This one, you do got to take off. You just squeeze it and it comes right off. And that is it as far as your valve cover gasket goes. Rubber hammer is best, but just going to tap it a few times. Make sure it's loose. There you go. It might be tight, so you just want to tap it a couple times. Should pull right up. Oh, see, I knew you should have got those off of there first. Learn from my mistake, right? Make sure you don't get anything into the motor. Like I said, we actually took this whole piece off and replaced the lower spark plug tubes. So if you need to see that video, stay tuned, it'll be out soon. We also replaced all these, which I'll probably even have in this video. And we replaced all these as well. Look at this. Look right here. You can see how that's torn up, man. I was just pouring oil out. Man, that's crazy. I don't even know why that happened. But it doesn't matter why it happened. It did happen, right? So I have to make sure there's no oil in there. So alright, we're just going to pull this one out. And Yeah, that's toast. The quarterback is toast. They have a whole set of these plastic tools at Harbor Freight, or obviously you can get them online at Amazon. I'll leave a link for you. Alright. RTV, which is maximum oil resistant gasket maker. So the good thing about this is your problem on these a lot of times are this point right here on each side doesn't quite seal. I guess it's just not machined perfectly with everything. So you want to make sure we're going to lay some of this gasket maker on those edges. The other benefit here is that it will hold your gasket in place for you when you go to put it down, so that hopefully you don't have the same issue that I had. You got one small end, one big end, so put the small end on the small end and the big end on the big end, right? Another thing with this this RTV gasket stuff, you can use it to help. So you put a little bit of this gasket maker in here. Oh, what am I doing? And it'll help your just gonna put a little bit of this all around here. Alright, let's go ahead and get this thing in there. The good thing about the blue is you should be able to see it if it's not in place, where the black is really hard to see if it's not right on the money. So just let that we're just gonna let that gasket seal up for just a couple seconds, and then we'll just flip this back on. Give me 1 second. All right, next we're just gonna put in these other rings. You can tell they give you a round ring, but it is a little bit elongated as far as the hole goes. You just gotta kind of shape them and put them in. All right, we're just about ready to put this thing back together. Just right here on these little corners right here, we're gonna put a little gasket maker here. Really don't need a lot. I probably put too much on there, but hey. All right, once you get done with that step, it's the final step. So we let this dry for about 5 minutes so that we wouldn't have a problem with it coming out. Okay, let's make sure we got everything kind of out of the way so we don't have to worry about anything hitting it. We're just going to try to go as straight down on there as we can so that we don't have any issue. Let me just show you on this edge. You have this little, it's going to go on top of this right here. So you got a little edge that you're going to go on top of. So just got to kind of fill it in there. Always something that gets in the way, right? It's probably what got in the way last time, and then you just want to make sure it sets down. So make sure it's all set down. Okay. Then you're going to go ahead and take your time and go all the way around it. See? Make sure it's all there. Make sure you can see it. That's why I say the blue does allow you to see it a little bit better. You can kind of see there. And then on the back side, if you got a mirror, it'd be great because it's hard to see, and that's where I messed up mine up at. And it was dark that day. But anyway, enough of the excuses. That's it. If you don't have one of these, get one, right? That's what, remember those fell earlier in the video. So helped me get them out from underneath the car pretty easily. Make sure you wipe everything down. You want to keep everything clean. You do not want any sand in this bad boy. You don't want anything in this bad boy. I can guarantee. I'm just gonna put it back together. All right, tighten it all back up and make sure you press everything down. Press down your spark plugs. Make sure that's the last thing you do. Do it a couple times. You don't want to over tighten, but you definitely want to get some squeeze on this thing. You know, if you got a torque wrench, you can probably look up the torque specs. I do not have those. You just keep going around making sure that you as you squeeze this, you're going to kind of really see if you made any errors, because you'll see that gasket start to squish out somewhere where it's not supposed to. And then before you start it up, you want to wait a little while, because you got some of that gasket stuff. You want that gasket stuff to, if any of it kind of poked in on the inside, you want it to make sure that it turns into gasket stuff and it doesn't come apart and get all into your engine. So it depends on how messy you are. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and definitely subscribe to the playlist, the Accord playlist. I got the cold air intake on there, how to change the brakes. Every time I do something, I add it to it. So got the valve cover gasket, the upper and lower spark plug tube seals. So every time we do something, the headlights, how to change the headlights, because believe it or not, the headlights aren't just like plug and play. You gotta kind of know the little tiny secret that's on there. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Thanks a lot. Beautiful. All right, whole job probably took, you could do it in 30 minutes. I had to stop for a phone call, so I'm sure you will too. Make sure your wires aren't sitting on the on this thing, kind of make it look nice. I like the gray. I plan on painting that, so I'll show you how to paint that. And, of course, now I got oil all over the place. You can see all the oil that was coming out right there, and it was just really toast. Good to go. Shouldn't have that problem anymore.